Nice to meet all of you. This is what my face looks like. Got women in the front row are laughing. That is... No, it's okay. No, I'm used to getting laughed at in clubs. That is when I was younger, this face looked more like a baby face. It was pretty cute. But the older I get, the more this either looks like I'm just a guy who's always lost or a serial killer. It's not that much variety you want in a face. So here, this is to give you an idea of how I don't get a lot of compliments. This is the best compliment I've ever gotten about my face. I was in university, and I was at this party. And I was trying to pick up this Japanese exchange student I had my eye on the whole year. And I thought things were going really well. We were flirting, we were laughing, we were drinking, having a great time. And then out of nowhere, she just turned to me and went, "You have a face like a puppet." Alright, I see the Japanese are as good at dropping bombs as you are receiving them. That's... Oh, was it too soon? No, she didn't mean to insult me, and she was just shooting me down in just a novel, fun way, and I appreciate that, because I've been shot down, as I said, in my life a lot of times. I walked into a different bar, up to a different girl, and went, "Hey, how would you like to take home a puppet tonight?" No strings attached, girl, come on. And you might get felt. Also a puppet joke. But here's it, and you know, I'm sad either way, because either she likes it and that's great, or she's like, "No, I am not sleeping with a puppet." And I could be like, "Well, me neither, we already have so much in common." Yeah, I mean, there were a couple socks in high school, but yeah, those puppet shows were vigorous and brief, and Mom was not a fan at all. Yeah. I realized, this happened to me recently on stage, I realized that my mom stopped doing my laundry when I was 12 years old, and I'd never understood that, and on stage I was like, "Oh right, because that's when laundry gets hard." Like difficult, but also denser, right? Yeah, so I was never an easy kid. I was just a wuss when I was a kid. I used to always get nightmares and stuff and run to my mom and cry. And I find that in retrospect really funny. Like child nightmares, those are nothing. Because a child, they're afraid. They wake up in the middle of the night, they're afraid. Now that I'm an adult, I wake up with anxiety, which is 10 times worse. Right? Because like you can be like, there's no such thing as the boogeyman. But like recently I woke up in the middle of the night and was like, "Oh my God, what if I get fired from my job?" And my girlfriend was like, "Yeah, you spend a lot of time on Facebook." Cool, well I guess I won't sleep tonight then, that's great. And I'm worried that one day, like, my anxiety nightmares are gonna meet back up with my childhood nightmares, and I'm gonna get the worst of all possible nightmares, which would be a mix of anxiety and fear, which would be like, I was, a fear nightmare where I'm in a plane, and I'm crashing to the ground, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna die, but then the plane levels off, but I have to spend the rest of the flight sharing an armrest with a woman who believes that autism is caused by gluten." Or else, I'm back in my room, I'm a kid again, and there is a boogeyman in my closet this time, and I'm like, "Oh my God, there's a boogeyman in my closet." And the boogeyman is just like, "Don't worry, man, I'm not gonna come out of the closet, you didn't." So I'm gonna ask, how many people here have done mushrooms before? Right, those of you who haven't, did you hear how enthusiastic those who have are? That should tell you about something about the justice system. It's just there to prevent you from having fun, mostly. I just want to preface all of this by saying that I'm not a drug person per se, which is clear from me saying drug person per se. Yeah, you got it. But I had not done them before, and I did them about 3 months ago, first time ever, and I wasn't ready for it at all, because like about an hour in, I was like, "I'm feeling nothing right now." And I literally said the most irresponsible words I've ever said in my life. Out loud, I said, "I could drive a car right now." Yeah, not unless it's a rainbow bus to Funtown. It's not a good idea, because buckle up. What happened next was I noticed that there was a glass of water on the table. And I was like, "Oh, that's interesting, a glass of water." That's the most beautiful glass of water I've ever seen. Because if you've never done them before, that's what it does. It just makes everything interesting. It basically turns life into your own personal Netflix recommendations. It's like, hey, if you like glass of water, you might also like ceiling. Dale, you gotta check out ceiling. Don't ruin it for me, I'm still on wall. And the interesting thing is that like once all of life is interesting, no place is more interesting than any other place. And so my friends and I were just passed out on the floor, checking out the ceiling, just loving it. And then one of our friends, he said, I have to go upstairs to the bathroom. And we were like, no, we don't know what's up there. And he went up there, and then when he came back down, we were like, what did you find up there? And he was like, it turns out they have ceiling too, they just call it floor. So I told you I'm rocking this face. I'm also rocking this whole body is attached, which isn't great for me. I found out recently, you know, a lot of people say, like, I'm just using the body God gave me. And the body God gave me was a premature baby. And I have done very little with it since. And I found out recently that I have thick thighs for my size, which is it's never a complimentary thing to find out. And I found it out when I was getting fitted for these pants, and the woman who was helping was like, you have really thick thighs. And I was like, you have a really big mouth. And I realized that means that I basically have like the upper torso of a little baby and the lower torso of a mother of two, just keeping it tight. Guys, thank you very much. I'm Jeff Kubik. Enjoy the rest of the show.